Whoa. Holy cow. Whoa. Whoa, look at those moves. Damn, this game is intense. Whoa. Hot damn, man. Jeez Louise. Alright, I need to stop playing this for a little bit here. Hey guys, what's going on? Sorry for that, I've been really sucked into this arcade game I've been playing recently. This is one I played a long time ago as a kid, but I'll get to that in a little bit. So guys, without further ado, today I will be talking about 1982's Time Pilot, released by Konami and distributed by Century here in the United States. So guys, without further ado, let us roll. Actually, you know what? This game doesn't have an attract screen. So, let's just roll a little bit of gameplay footage, shall we? While the title screen comes up on screen now. So yeah guys, the history of this game, as I mentioned, released in 1982 by Konami, distributed here in the United States by Century, a small company. It is pretty interesting to note that there is one big difference in this game, and that is actually on some of the levels, where specifically one, when you time travel into the future to the futuristic year of 1982. In the initial release of this game, it is 1982, but in the Century version of this game, it is actually 1983. It is pretty fascinating to note that the creator of this game, Yoshiki Okamoto, actually developed this game in secret along with his programmer, because his boss had actually set him out to create a driving game for Konami. So yes, this game was actually developed in secret. It is fun to note that when this game did become a huge success for Konami, his boss actually took credit for this idea. What a dick. I'm just gonna walk out right now. Actually, no, I actually need to do this review, so that'll have to wait. But yeah guys, his boss actually took credit for the idea after the game became a huge success. Which is pretty, I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty insulting. Like, you developed this game in secret after a crappy driving game that didn't sell too well. So your own personal project is the game that actually becomes the best seller. And then your boss comes like, yeah, totally my idea. You guys have no idea how mad that makes me. On behalf of Okamoto-san. You guys have no idea. Anyways, that's pretty much it in terms of the history of this game. So guys, I guess I should actually talk about some of the music and some of the graphics in this game. Music, honestly, there's only a couple tunes in this game, and nothing really much needs to be said. It gets the job done. The sound effects, though, the sound effects are a different story. Your ship coming into a level is a very satisfying sound effect. Firing shots, the sound that makes, it does feel really satisfying. It does sound like a machine gun. Ships exploding. Holy flippin' heck. That's such a satisfying sound to hear ships explode. you can definitely hear when missiles are lobbed at you, and be prepared to pretty much run away as much as possible. Because yeah, you're definitely gonna need it. So yeah guys, this game is a multi-directional scrolling shooter. Your ship is always on dead center of the screen. As you can tell by looking at some gameplay, screen goes long ways or vertical. So yes, this is a vertical cabinet if you originally played this on. It is pretty fun to note that this game is actually a lot of fun. Like, I'm not gonna lie, this is one of my favorite arcade games. This is a game I played a long time ago actually. I didn't actually play the original arcade game. I actually played a port of this game on the Konami Classics collection for the GBA. Which is fun to note because the GBA actually does have an additional level. But we'll get to that in a little bit. So, how does this game play? So as you can see on screen, you originally start off fighting some small biplanes. It is pretty fun. You actually start off in the year 1910. 1910, you fight some biplanes, and the big boss of that level is actually Blimp. It is pretty rad, I'm not gonna lie. Then comes 1940. Yeah, we actually go into World War II. So yeah, let's talk about this level, shall we? So yeah, so 1940 World War II, you fight some monoplanes, and the big boss in this level is a B-25. Next up after that is a 1970s, or 1970 actually. You fight helicopters and a large blue CH-46, which is actually pretty cool. The helicopters actually start shooting missiles at you, which actually makes the game pretty difficult because these missiles do follow you. Like, holy flippin' heck, guys. These missiles do follow you, and on the later difficulties, oh man, the enemies fire these missiles pretty consistently. I'm not gonna lie, you will literally hear the sound of missiles being fired out at you, and these missiles are homing. So yeah, this gameplay does get pretty intense. Luckily for you, the missiles cannot perform sharp turns, so as long as your ship performs a really sharp turn, you will definitely dodge the missiles. You can also shoot the missiles down, which comes in handy at this point as well, on the higher difficulties, or if the game loops again after the final stage. Enemies start firing more and more shots at you. They fire the yellow shots at you, which are just their basic standard shots. And yeah, it leads to some pretty hairy situations, but I'm not gonna lie, it does lead to some pretty epic dogfights, like this moment here on screen. So yeah, guys, after that we go into the year 1982. 1982 is actually an Konami release, the initial release. 1983 is the Century release of this game. So you fight some jets, and you actually fight another B-52 as the final boss. The jets are pretty interesting because they're actually faster than you. For whatever reason, your space fighter pilot has a ship that's slower than jets, which I will never understand, but I mean, hey, gameplay, that's pretty much the reason why, right? So, yeah, these jets are really intense. Sometimes while you're making turns and they fire missiles at you and they lob shots, it does get really hairy because you will start crashing into these enemies. You will start kamikazing them. The big boss of this level is actually another B-52 for whatever reason. Huge B-52. After that, you go into the futuristic year of 2001. Ooh. 2001, you're actually up in space. This time, though, you fight UFOs. Yeah, UFOs. So these enemies, holy flippin' heck. These enemies fire two different types of shots at you. They fire a shot that goes towards you, and they fire another shot that is lobbed at you. It looks like a giant blob. Bear in mind as though you're fighting in a huge asteroid field. This giant blob actually does semi-follow you, and it gets pretty gosh darn intense. Because these blobs can be shot down, but the consistency and the rate that they are fired this game gets really intense, guys. This is where the difficulty really ramps up. Once you beat this level, and you beat the final boss, which is just another bigger giant blue UFO, the game does loop, and the game keeps on looping after this level. And you get a little emblem up on the top of your screen, and yeah, be prepared, because these enemies get harder and harder. They become smarter, they fire more shots at you, and not gonna lie, it gets pretty intense. This game is definitely a score horror game, and it is a lot of fun, guys. So, my history with this game is I played this game on a Konami Classics Collection for the Game Boy Advance. The enemies are pretty much the same difficulty. You do get one extra level after you beat the UFOs. The level actually is some prehistoric times, so you fight pterodactyls, and it's actually pretty cool. It's a pretty neat surprise. Also, this version of the game does contain a code that grants you auto fire, which is a saving grace in this game, because you're pretty much just going to sputter out like this. Ship's going to sputter out like this, and you're going to fire like crazy, especially when they start shooting missiles at you, and you get a crap ton of lives. This game was also ported to many different computers. I mean, a ton of them. There's also ports, I guess conversions for the PlayStation, the PS2. There's also conversions for some computers at the time, TRS Color Computer, which were actually clones. The 1983 TRS-80 is actually called Fury. There is also two unrelated clones pretty similar to that. 1984's Space Pilot by Kingsoft for the Commodore 64, and Superior Software's Space Pilot for the BBC Micro. Totally original names, guys. So yeah, guys, with that, let me actually move on to my opinion of this game. What's my opinion? This game is actually really cool. I would actually recommend this game. This game is not too difficult. The first level of the game is just difficult enough for you to get a bearing on the controls of this game. There is no, desperation maneuver like in Juno First, but you can pretty much dodge all the enemies in this game with some skilled piloting. As I mentioned, this does lead to some pretty intense moments where you just scrape on by just your wit's end, and it is absolutely glorious to just dodge enemy bullets. I would highly recommend this game. It's available on a lot of stuff. The GBA port I would really recommend. Plus, too, you do get other Konami titles as well, like Russian Attack. I really recommend that version of the game. Just because you have the auto fire. Though playing it with a D-pad on the GBA isn't ideal, because you will burn your thumb a bit doing this, trying to, sputter out and fire shots. It is a really good port of the game. Auto fire is pretty nifty to have. If worst comes to worst, you could just go this way right over here. Got this guy, do some illegal stuff. Just don't tell anyone I told you to do it. It wasn't my idea. But yeah, guys, I would highly recommend this game. It is absolutely a fun game. So, guys, recommended. And yeah, guys, I just want to say, summer programming is coming up. We're getting to summer here. As you guys know, summer is one of my favorite times of the year, along with winter time. So guys, I'm just going to say it right here and right now. Summer programming is going to be pretty legit. Hopefully I have enough time to do it all. And without further ado, guys, I just want to say thanks for tuning in, guys, and remember to stay absolutely radical, alright, guys?